Hey everybody! The purpose of this little video is to walk you through the first of our grade quizzes. So we've got my commute to work every day. I go from 3,400 feet above sea level to about 4,100 feet above sea level, right up above Juniper Hall, and then I drop in to my office from there. So I end up climbing, that's 700 feet. So what I've done is I've got my two grade triangles here. My house would be here at both of them, and my high point of my commute would be here at both of them. You can ignore the distance I go downhill from the top of Juniper to my office because it's only a couple hundred feet and it really doesn't change all that much. So essentially we're going uphill 700 feet on average over the entire commute. So now I say I'm going uphill 700 feet. I actually accumulate more than 700 feet of elevation because I go up, then drop, then up, then drop. It's a pretty fun, sinuous commute. But overall, my average grade, I gain 700 feet from house to work. The first and second ones, or part 1A and part B, do it the wrong way first. The first thing I say pretend that my 6.5 mile commute is the actual run. Now we know it's not. It's not the run. This is what I'm actually riding on. I'm not riding on this part of the hill. I'm riding on the hypotenuse. So that 34,320 feet should be a hypotenuse, not the run. But I'm saying do it the wrong way first. So put the 34,320 foot hypotenuse and just call it the run, realizing of course that I've drawn these horribly off to scale. So your grade over here would be your grade the wrong way would be 700 feet over 34,320 feet, and if I did my math correctly over there on the paper, this comes out to be just about 2%. Just about 2%-ish, somewhere in there. Okay? Awesome. Now, that was very tempting to do because it was very easy to take my elevation of 700 feet and divide it by my traveling distance of 34,320. Technically speaking, I shouldn't have done that. Technically speaking, I should have found this extra leg of the hypotenuse, the run, by using the Pythagorean theorem of the square root of 34,320 feet squared minus 700 feet squared. Should have done that. And when you do that, it ends up being 34,312 feet. Now, I want you to take a step back and don't get too hung up in the mathematics here and only look at, this is wrong. This is correct. But how much are they different by? They're only different by 8 feet. And 8 feet, in the grand scheme of things, isn't a whole lot. And that's what you probably noticed, was that the grade, the right way, is 700 feet over 34,312 feet. Now, of course, that number is got to be larger than this number. You get the same numerator, but you're dividing by a smaller number in the denominator. That has to yield a bigger number. But the thing is, it's only bigger out, I believe, in the 10,000th place. So it's still a 2% grade. Still a 2% grade. And what you learn from this, of course, is that, yes, mathematically imprecise, but practically very, very useful because, number one, it's simpler, and number two, it gets you a close enough answer. We'll discuss close enough and how close is close enough and how far away until you're not close enough anymore on your first out-of-class exam. But for right now, just realize that when you're talking about something that's not this steep, you can be off in your estimate and still get reasonably good data. So 34,320 as the hypotenuse versus 34,320 because of the leg. Sure, it's wrong, but you still get essentially correct results. Third question, or second question, I guess. What's the percent error in your incorrect answer? Now, if you refer back to your homework, percent error is your incorrect estimate minus your correct one. That's the difference in them, divided by your correct one. Well, the incorrect one minus the correct one is 0. Divided by the correct one is still going to give you 0. So as far as a percent error, it's essentially 0. You'd have to show me how you got that, but it's 0. And what average angle is formed using your trig tables? These little angles that are tucked in here? Either one, essentially. Whether you do it right or wrong, it's just a smidge above 1%. Not much. Not much. Or, not, excuse me, 1%. 1 degree. It's not much above 1 degree, which makes you think, well, rule, With a 2% angle, a 2% average grade and a 1% angle, college way is steeper than what you're talking about. And you're right. On average, college way is steeper. And on average, mine is less steep. But there are sections of my commute that are much steeper than any section on college way. It's just that there are certain times I drop and lose elevation. So my commute to work doesn't look, on average, it looks like this. But essentially what ends up happening is I'll do this for quite a bit sometime, and then I'll rise a little bit, and I might drop down. Then I might be going flat again after I've gained some elevation. I might go up like this, I might ride flat, I might drop down, and then I've got to pick up. I mean, I end up at the same point no matter which path I take. And on average, I end up at the same thing, but you see how I actually have to regain lost elevation in some places. That's a consequence. That's why some GPS trackers will track total elevation and not just overall elevation. But another talk for another time. Hopefully this helps you get some solutions for your quiz.